So both parents would have, unknown to them, been in contact with a family member who was positive. From the day after Mother's Day, that's last year, my mom and dad started to have mild symptoms. Let me say by the Tuesday, they would have known now that the person was positive, but they would have already been in contact with them. My mom started to have a slight cough, a slight fever, nothing too concerning. My dad, same. Say by the Wednesday, they started to feel worse. They started to feel sick, and my brother took them to get tested. So they both would have tested in Penal Health Center. So they had to wait for the results. We dropped medication, food, we were in contact with them, and they started to have like all the symptoms: loss of taste, high fever, coughing, yeah. Sore throat. So they were taking the normal medication that they keep telling everybody to take Panadol, take cough syrup, vitamin C, vitamins. They even opted for like bush medicine, like fever grass tea, all that they did. Friday evening, my mom called all of us and told us that she was feeling better. So we were hopeful. They still didn't get their results yet, right? But they're showing all the symptoms for COVID. So we know that this is what going on. Saturday morning now, my brother called to say that my brother lives next door to my parents. So he called us to say that, he find that this morning when he checked in on them, they were his exact words were, they were acting a little off. So I decided to go down by them because to see exactly what it is going on. So when I went there, that would have been like 10 o'clock in the morning. My dad, he was breathing kind of heavy, and so we called the ambulance for him. My mom, she was weak, but she said she was feeling fine. Still no results yet, saying that they were COVID positive or anything. So I put on all the safety equipment required to go to visit them because we're treating it as if they're positive, although they didn't get any results. So I went, I bring my mother downstairs, took care of her, gave her tea and everything. But when I checked her oxygen level was 60. And so we called back the ambulance and told them, well, it's both of them then. So they said they were on their way. So this would lead up to say around 12. Yeah, around 12 midday, Saturday. The ambulance person were talking to me and my brother while it was happening. And my dad was standing right there. So it was 3 of us there at the moment that this was happening. In a second, my brother just looked at me and said, my mom stopped breathing. And I started to panic because this is something I'm not expecting. By the time the ambulance came, it would have been like 10 minutes after she stopped breathing. My brother tried to revive her because they were walking him through the process, what to do and how to do it. And by the time they reached, they tried to revive her for 30 minutes. And it was already too late. She had already gone. And this would have been the 15th of May last year. Today make it 8 months actually. So the ambulance, they checked my father and they carried him to Superior Health Center because, he could have had a chance to fight because my mom, she just didn't have any chance, she didn't have the strength to fight. By the time they carry him, my brother followed the ambulance with my dad. I called and then I told my 2 sisters what was happening. They came, but nobody couldn't come into the compound because the person from the ambulance said nobody to come in the facility. Although they didn't get the results, they sure it was COVID. So they would have taken my dad to Siparia. We started, my brother-in-laws and my sister, my elder sister, took in charge of all the funeral arrangements and started to call because we didn't know what to do. this is 4 of us looking at the absolute worst experience of our entire life. So she started to make calls and what to do, who to call, because nobody was coming around. Everybody was afraid at that time too, because people didn't know what to expect, I guess. And so my dad would have gone to Siparia, and Siparia now said they would do a rapid test because they needed the results right away, because so they could know where to send him, if to send him to San Fernando or to Cuba Health Facility. By the time, so this would be Sunday, they would tell us, well, he was definitely positive, and then Sunday, Pinal Health Center would be in contact with us to say that my mom was positive. So then we told them, well, what had happened, that she had already passed. My dad, he stayed 3 days in Siparia under a tent in the yard. They were giving him oxygen. Me and my brother were taking turns going to visit him, dropping food and things. He was talking, he was in his full senses. You know, he kept asking to come home because he wanted to know what was going on. And the Wednesday morning, Siparia, someone there would have called me and said that they're taking him to San Fernando because he needs to be on a ventilator. And Thursday, they said that he was resisting because he wanted to come home. And he told them that he had known that my mom died and he wanted to be home, and he was fighting them. He didn't want to stay at all. And they had to they told us they had to tie down his hands and thing in order to force the oxygen on him to give him a fighting chance. And Friday, so the Friday now, this would be the 21st of May, he passed away. And 6 days after, so my mom's funeral would have gone the Wednesday before. So my sister made the arrangements to have cremation in Belgroves for my mom. And then she did the same exact thing. Now we had to do the same exact thing for my dad. Everybody went into quarantine because we were in contact with them, me and my brother. My husband tested positive during this whole ordeal because he would have been there with me throughout everything. So now I would be in quarantine with my husband, who now tested positive, and both parents gone. And we just had to, by force, put the pieces together. We could have only communicated with each other, the 4 of us, virtually. My brother did all the rituals and all the prayers virtually. The pundit contacted him through the phone, and that's how because we couldn't do anything. That was all the 4 of us could have done. I thank God that we had each other, the support that my brother, my 2 sisters, and myself had with each other. It was enough to get us through. I mean, family and friends reached out. We had a lot of support with family and friends, but nobody couldn't physically be there. So we had to do this on our own and get past this. And it has really, really been a difficult, hard time. You know, my message would be to persons who think COVID is not real, or COVID is not serious, or maybe today is the day to take a chance. It's not until something like this happened to you, you would never know. Your entire world could change in seconds. And there's nothing we could do, we could say that could bring back my parents. I wish we could have done more. I wish.
Was when mom got sick on Wednesday, and I called the ambulance for her, right? And when I called, from that would be like 10 a.m. till the next Thursday morning, 2 a.m., I still trying to reach out to the ambulance people. They couldn't send someone, but their main question is she tested? Is she positive? That was the only reason they were coming, right? And I think that is important, that is what your class emergency. While I am telling you she is very ill, she's crying, she's saying she's having stomach pain. I'm telling you that she's having all the symptoms of COVID, knowing that the relative she got it from is COVID positive. So more than likely she is positive because she had food and stuff from them. Yet you all did not come. When Thursday we tried on our own, we got a nurse to give a doctor to come and give her drips, all of these things, she and dad. We did all of that. I went and bought nebulizer, medication, we trying. And still, only when we called on Friday, well, Saturday, we had to lie and say, yes, they're COVID positive. And that was the only way we could get the ambulance to come as quickly as. Now, I must say that when dad went to the hospital, he did get good treatment, but I would say that will be because of the doctors there and us having, and God bless this doctor who is a relative, who have stood by us and supported us so we could have find out what's going on with our father, because we couldn't reach him anyhow. It had no way we could have find out. I mean, I would have sent blanket and clothes and stuff for him. We're not sure if he get it or he didn't get it, but this doctor updated us probably 3-4 times for the day. And I don't think this country is in a good state at this time. While people are saying only when it hits home, then you realize how serious it is. I think it's hitting home for a lot of people and they're still not taking this serious. While I know for a fact that the government is trying their best. I mean, we are not a first world country. So obviously they are trying their best. The thing that is lacking most in this country is support for family. We have no support system. People are depressed. I mean, I'm an adult, so are my 2 sisters and brother. But there are people who have younger children, parents who left their little children. There's no support system for them. We are having a difficult time having anxiety attacks, having sleepless nights. You can't focus. It's affecting your family life because most of the time you're in depression. But who can we reach out to? Where can we get help? There's only so much a family can help. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody outside, but there is no kind of system in place for that. Then there's another thing where families who have lost loved ones can't afford to do a funeral. I mean, you didn't lose one, you're losing 2. Well, I mean, we were probably a little more fortunate with the help of family and with ourselves that we could afford to do our parents' funeral. But some people cannot. That in itself is a stress. You know what is to have a parent in a morgue for a whole month because you can't get a space in one of the crematorium, and whereas overnight these crematorium sending up their price. By the time we did mom funeral, dad, and we're ready 5 days after to do dad one, the price went up by $5,000.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
Wow.
I mean, that is unacceptable.
same funeral.
I think
Arrangements.
what can, I mean, yes, we have a economy downturn in the country. Yes, we know that right now we could say almost recession. We are in recession. Things are hard, but we have 3,000 plus deaths in this country compared to the population of the country. While citizens of Trinidad will be 1.4, we have 2 people who are not citizens. So let's say 2 million people in this country. You have only 3,000 deaths, and you government did not reach out to any family to assist with funeral, which they should. Because I mean, you're helping people who are unemployed. You help, while all that is great, right? The economy is trying to pick itself up, so work is opening up back. But what about these children? I know of a family that has 4 children that lost mother and father. Where they getting money to do a funeral or to do prayers? It's only so much families could help. And I mean, a lot of us poor. We are not wealthy people. We try our best. And I think that is a downfall of our system. However, in dealing with grief, it is very hard. To lose, for me personally, losing my mother and father in a week time, I would say, I cannot come to terms with that. There are days that I am angry like hell. There are days that I cannot see the light. There are days that you don't even want to be in this world anymore, right? There are days that I would lie in bed and wonder, what is happening with them? Where are they? Right? We grew up so close with our mother and father. They were not just our parents, they were our best friends. It had nothing that we couldn't tell them. Anything happened in my work, I would call my father first before I talk to my husband. If I have to make a decision, that is what I would do. My mother, every day, my mother would speak to every one of her children. And every weekend we spend with them. I would encourage all children to spend time like that with your parents. Every weekend we spend with them. My father used to actually run us home and say, oh, I have to go to work because we never used to want to leave. When mom died, my sisters and I sat and we fighting over my father, like who's going to take daddy and who's going to do what? We never push away any responsibility when it comes to our parents. Never, right? We used to actually fight for them. Like, mommy, who you like the most? Daddy, who you like the most? And always like that. We were still little children in front of our parents' eyes. And when my father died, that was the biggest heartbreak I experienced because from a baby, my father was my hero. He was every single thing to me. When my father got retrenched. When he got retrenched from work, he had 4 children to mind. And my mother, main goal was that she wanted to educate her children because she said she didn't get her education. And she said that she wants her children to be independent, have for their own and see about themselves. Don't depend on no man or no woman to see about them. They can do it for themselves. She worked hard and cut cane, plant rice, wash people clothes, clean people's house, cook food for people. She even, long ago, they said, leave a house. She's even do anything anybody asked her to do. She would do it for her children and for her husband because she said she's not going to sit down and have daddy work hard alone and she would sit down. She is going out there and we supported her and she never made us, both of them never made us feel for nothing. We didn't feel for anything. We never missed nothing in our life. Today they have 4 successful children. They, all 4 of us, they educated us. We all have our own home. We all can see about ourselves. And even before mom gets sick, she told us, the 4 of us were together, and she said her only wish in life was to see her children independent and they can see about themselves. And today I can say my mother died knowing her children will be able to see about themselves. But dealing with this grief and losing them like this, I'm sorry, but you can't get over this. If they were sickly and you know that they were suffering is something different. But the way they died, I think our government has to realize that families cannot deal with COVID death because it's too sudden. It happened too easy that now they have, a lot of them have guilt in their mind. They have a lot of depression, a lot of them suffer with. My small sister was the closest with my mother. If she not by my mother by her. And I'm being honest with you, we as 3 daughters, I tell you, we could forsake we husband and family for our parents. That is how we were close with them. They would always come first in our lives. And she's having a hard time while we try to comfort her and comfort the kids who comforted us. And it is hard to comfort each other. And I mean, since they died, we all taking our precautions, but we can't live without each other. So we have to be together every weekend. We have to be together because only 4 of us know what we feel and are going through. I mean, everybody experience is different, but I think nobody can accept how quickly COVID can take somebody's life. It is very, very hard.
How do you feel about the government's response to the pandemic, given your experience?
I would say at the beginning, I think they handled it well. Say Last year, things just, I think the amount of, at the beginning, it was good. Their response were good. From last year, when the cases started to increase, I think that the whole system became so overwhelmed that everybody at that point was unsure.
So in my opinion, I think they tried their best, right? In terms of trying with persons with COVID, they are trying their best there. But then again, there's only so much a government can do. To me, I would put 40% on the government, but 60% of this spread in COVID is people. Because people are very careless. I have seen it. I have seen people who are positive and out there in the pharmacy, they're in the grocery, right? And you know for a fact that you heard in the village that this person has COVID. So it shows that people don't care, especially when COVID became that people now are asymptomatic. They don't care. And some people have the mentality, if I get it, so can you. And look at my parents, for instance, they were home, they were secured. My parents were scared to get COVID, and COVID reached home to them, right? I mean, people are doing this while you are taking chances and going out there, partying in crowd, whatever you want to do. Even in work, people are being careless. When you do things like that, you may not die. You may become asymptomatic, but you are taking this virus that to people who are so scared, and these people don't have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
So I think while the government is trying their best, I mean, they can do a little more to help the grieving families. However, while they are trying their best, there's only so much you could scold a population to do better. And it's all up to us to do better. But a lot of people are still just don't care.
Right.
Careless.
Which brings me to my next question. I mean, how do you feel about the level of vaccine hesitancy that we're seeing in the country?
Well, I support vaccination. While yes, vaccine has side effects, and just like any other vaccine that you are taking, even a normal Panadol that you are taking, you don't know what it have in it, is the same with the vaccine. However, I think social media itself had influenced a lot of people not to take this vaccine. A lot of people who are not doctors, who have no knowledge of science, are the one who are trying to influence people not to take the vaccine. And so while you can't force anybody to do it, probably there should be a little more openness with the government, or have set up systems where people can reach out to understand what, I mean, I did my research before I took my vaccines. I did it, and I even tell my sisters that the thing is, a lot of people don't have that. They can't afford that, to do that. However, social media has influenced a lot of people not to take the vaccine. However, us having a low vaccination percentage in this country is contributing to the state that we are in today. In terms of death, and our hospital system is so overwhelmed that you might have 10 people in ICU and 10 more waiting to go into ICU. But most of them are not vaccinated. When you have people waiting there and they're waiting on a ventilator and they can't get in time, they will die. They will die. And it's only so much our health system could do. And people have to stop comparing Trinidad with America or United Kingdom. We are not first world and advanced like them. Accept our country for what it is. The government is trying their best when it comes to that. Nurses and doctors are working tirelessly to trying their best for what they can do, but it's us to reach them halfway. And you not taking the vaccine is overwhelming them, and then it don't have, you're not giving, even people with vaccine not getting a fighting chance in the hospital because they don't have space.
Basically, my sisters covered everything that we discussed prior to this meeting. And it's just that it is what it is. I have 2 small kids. Yes, I want to go out there. The Christmas season met us. They want to go to the mall. We want to go and shop, but we choose to stay home. because the fact of the spread, how easy this virus is spreading. Now, yes, I am fully vaccinated, my husband also. We want to go places, but we make the choice only go out when it is necessary. And it's basically if you have to get food stuff or work, and that's it. So now if people were to think like me now, it could, the numbers could drop, but people choose to be out there. It have people who still acting as if COVID don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, according to what my sister said, it is up to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago if we want to get some normalcy back in our lives. You have to take the step down. Shutting down the country. To me, it did help at some point. Let people just go out, get the basic essentials, and shut down for a while. But then it's only for so long because people have to work, people losing jobs when the country shut down. So everything is a give and take. But I think it's up to the individual. If you want COVID to go away, you make a stand. Make a greater effort. Yeah. Persons need to make a greater effort.
Yes.
We can't sit down home and expect the government to
To
come
do
and take
everything
care of
for you.
everything for us. And so what, persons still have this mentality. So what if we get COVID, you go in the hospital, but you ever think about when you being careless and you go in the hospital, the doctor or nurse who taking care of you is exposing themselves and going to expose their families too. And that is nonsense. It have persons who strongly against the vaccine. But if you know you're strongly against the vaccine, then don't put yourself out there and expose yourself to get COVID to stress out nobody else. Yes, vaccination is a choice until the government decides it isn't. But persons need to do better.
Yeah.
We need to do better. We need to make a greater effort in this country. We can't compare, like my sister said, we can't compare to anybody else. Look at your own self. If you want to have a fighting chance out there with this COVID, then do what you know you have to do. The government cannot do it for us. We have to make the effort ourselves.
All right. Yeah, you guys pretty much covered everything, all of my questions. Anything that you want to add?
No, not at this time.
Okay, no problem. Just want to, yeah.
Just one quick thing. So, it is for everybody who is going through this, especially there's 3,000 plus people that lost these family. It is hard. It is hard. While I think we all think about every day when we hear that 22 deaths, 19 deaths, 30 deaths, 37 deaths, it brings back so much memories, so much hurt. I could feel what these families go through, just like they would feel what we are going through. But we all have to keep faith and believe in God, or believe in whatever you want, but at least family is very important. You have to keep people close. You can't stay alone and grieve. And you have to take the comfort. If your siblings give you that comfort, or a friend give you that comfort, take that comfort. And if you need to break down and you need to cry or you need help, you have to say, because dealing with that through COVID is not an easy thing. It's definitely not.